Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 2nd of February. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Good morning to everybody. Good morning Nandan, Ishant, Elisainath, Pallavi, Nidhi, Planex Raman. Good morning to everybody. Now guys, first of all, in the today's video, we will be taking up the entire coverage of the budget special that has been given, and we will be seeing all the articles from the Hindu newspaper as well as the relevant articles from the Indian Express explained section also will be going to take up. Now, first of all, before taking up the budget that has been an important highlight into the today's newspaper, I want to tell you certain things very clearly. See, number one, whether the budget is important for our UPSC examination or not. Now understand this particular thing, that budget, how you read the budget, that is something which will decide that whether it will be important for your exam or not. Now see, you need not to read the budget from the point of view of a chartered accountant. Is it clear? You need not to go that okay, the taxations at what income now the taxes will be there or not. So with the perspective of a chartered accountant, with the perspective of a lawyer, you don't need to see on a budget. Budget needs to be seen in a way that how what different themes are there, and onto the different themes, what are the new schemes that are there, what are the new announcements that have been made. So a thematic coverage of budget can help you. Now, how the thematic coverage of budget can help you? For example, if we identify that, okay, what are the important initiatives that have been taken into the social sector, and if you note down that particular thing in the issues related to the GS paper number 1 and GS paper number 2, then through these particular points, you can authenticate your answers which you will write into the mains examination. Always this particular thing has been seen that if you give the references from the economic survey, from the budget announcements in particular sector, you don't need to put the numbers, you don't need to put the data, okay, from this many crore it has been increased to this many crore. No, that is not the thing, but initiatives always they help you and you get very good marks. So as we will be discussing the budget today, we will be purely be focusing on to the thematic approach where the different sectors will be taken, and within those sectors what are the new things that have announced, we'll see that, and then we will be doing an analysis of that particular thing, that how it will be impacting the India, the policy making, how it will be impacting the public policy, how it will be impacting the economy, and whether it is good or not, we will be seeing into that particular manner. I will not ask you to remember the absolute numbers that have been there. However, some specific numbers are there which we will be seeing. Is it clear? So this is one approach that you need to keep it in your mind. Fine. So that is the note that I will be taking here. And now with this, let's see first of all the overview of the newspaper articles. Now, first of all, you see this is the Indian Express explained section. It is talking about the budget big picture. So I had included this particular content already into the newspaper that we are going to take. Moreover, apart from the Hindu and Indian Express, today I had also included the attachment from the Business Standard and the Mint newspaper also. Now, this is the Hindu newspaper, page number 1. So, medium wave, it is just giving an overview of the entire budget that has been there. Then, the second page, again the budget, the entire budget articles are there. I will be taking all these articles. Then, the third page, again the budget is there. After that, with the budget, fine. So, here we can see that up till the 9 pages, fine, there are just the budget coverages that have been given. Then we come to the editorial section. Now in the editorial section also, every article is purely analyzing the budget and they are giving their viewpoints. All these articles have also been included into the today's coverage. Don't worry, all the editorials I have included. Then the next half, after we reach the editorial section, then the second half of the newspaper is completely filled by the comment of the opposition parties onto the budget. Everybody is expressing that they have not liked the budget. So this is just this particular thing. More capital, it is the capitalist budget, zero budget for the common man, and all these kind of things are there. Clear? So this critical evaluation, which is having some academic substance, we will include in our budget coverage. Fine. Then guys, after moving on, Amazon future group case etc has been mentioned. Nothing important into this particular direction is there. Pegasus row, the matter is sub judice. So opposition wants that this Pegasus should be discussed. Government said that will not discuss because it is being taken under the Supreme Court. Fine, no need to go every day into this particular cat and dog fight that is going on. Now guys, see, as we further move on into this particular direction, here we can see that the Citizens Forum launches campaign against hate politics. So how an active citizenry can actually improve the public policy in India will see that particular thing by this particular article. Fine. Then the budget allocation by police by this particular percent, every this thing will be taken into the newspaper. Then guys, further moving on, YouTuber sent to police custody, not important article, but by this article the topic of social influence will understand. Fine. Then further moving on, okay, after that the political news have been given into this entire page, nothing important. Now clarify stand on marital rape, High Court tells the center. Yesterday also I have taken this particular article where the Delhi High Court is listening the matter on to the marital rape. Fine, I told you that every day what the court said, then what the government said, not needed. At the end of the day, when this matter will be getting resolved, then the entire commentary will see. However, up till now I have told you many number of times that in India the marital rape is not a crime. Fine, there is a section number 375 of the IPC. It provides that if a husband is carrying a sexual intercourse with a wife even without the consent of a wife, it will not be called as a rape. And this particular thing has been criticized by the women activists. They say that you consider the women as a commodity of a husband. It is not good. So make the marital rape as a crime. Now this matter is going on to the Delhi High Court, but up till now nothing has come out of this particular thing. Is it clear? So this is just every day this one line concept is getting added. Fine, just no need. Then basically there is advertisements etc, nothing is there. Fine. Then guys, the protesters defy Janta order into the Myanmar. Every day evolution, one person died there, that leader said that. No, not at all important. Fine. However guys, basically after that the next is the opportunities page, and then the sports page comes. Okay, so a large number of articles are today there. Now let's see all of them one by one in the detail along with the analysis with respect to the exam. Okay, so now moving on. First of all guys, as we do in every our class, we start with the GS quote which you can use in one of your GS paper. So today's GS quote we have taken is from the Swami Vivekanand. Fine, Swami Vivekanand says, there is no chance of the welfare of the world unless the condition of women is improved. It is not possible for a bird to fly on one wing. So as a bird cannot fly on the one wing, the society cannot function by one gender. Fine, so therefore both the genders, the men and the women, they both need to come together and they need to make society more functional. Is it clear? So basically this is a certain idea which we can use in our GS paper number 1 as well as GS paper number 2, issues related to the women, as well as in the essay we can use this particular idea. Very good quote. Okay, now one more thing I want to say here guys, that yesterday I have asked with you guys that whether we should start the MCQs also. So you had given your response and I am considering to start with the MCQs within 1 or 2 days. I will tell that how it will be conducted. It will be there in our YouTube video only. So within 1 or 2 days I will be starting that particular thing. So I hope that you are enthusiastic and you will participate eagerly into that particular initiative. Okay. Fine, now further moving on. Okay, sir, we request that now we have entered into Feb, 4 months are away. Kindly conduct a session on future roadmap for smooth journey. Okay, we'll do take that also. Now, first of all, this is the snapshot of the articles with respect to the budget that has come. Okay, so many of the articles are there. Fine. Then there are even more articles. Fine. Continued on to the second page also. Fine. Then okay. So the page number, these are all the articles, then there are another articles, then further there are the articles. So all these articles, let's discuss them in a thematic based study. So we will be seeing first of all an overview, then we will be seeing that what is there with respect to the health, then we'll see that what is there with respect to the agriculture, infrastructure. Fine. And guys, see this particular thing, that as every sector will do, the related editorial I had included there only. Fine. Then the taxation sector will be there, then the social sector will be there, and then the other miscellaneous sections that will also be covered. Okay, so this is the approach that I'm going to take. Now, first of all, guys, basically this particular budget had come, okay, when we are celebrating the 75th year of the independence, and when the budget has been presented, it has been provided that now we are entering into the Amrit Kal. Now what is this Amrit Kal? The 75 years of the independence had happened, and within the next 25 years India will be 100-year-old independent country. 2047 will mark 100-year anniversary. So this 25 year period that is there till 2047, it has been referred to as an Amrit Kal, and into this Amrit Kal the capacities and capabilities of India are to be built. This is something which was announced by the finance minister. Now the budget of the Amrit Kal, there are the four main priorities that have been provided by the finance minister. What are these four priorities? Number one, PM Gati Shakti will be focused. Now what is this PM Gati Shakti? PM Gati Shakti is 100 lakh crore rupees plus infrastructure project that was announced by the Prime Minister in the Independence Day speech. Now 100 lakh crore rupees will be spent into the infrastructure. By this particular thing, the investment will be increased, and by that particular investment, the money will go to the people, employment will be generated, and the economy will be coming onto the track. So through the capital expenditure, through the infrastructure development, we will be going for the growth. So PM Gati Shakti will be very much focused. Then the inclusive development, sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka prayas will be the focus. Fine. So inclusive development which covers every person, particularly the poor people, that will be the focus that will be given. Then the third pillar will be the productivity enhancement mechanisms. Fine. The investment, sunrise sectors, fine, which have a lot of potential, energy transition, climate action, they will be focused, and financing of the investment. These will be the four main pillars of this particular budget which we have, which is focusing onto the Amrit Kal. Now guys, basically there is one reference of the Mahabharat's quote that has been given into the budget, by which the government has justified their overall budget where the tax reliefs have not been given. We can just see what has been said here. Basically finance minister has invoked the basically verse from the Mahabharat. The finance minister has said that the king must make arrangement for the Yogshem. Now what is the Yogshem? Yogshem means the welfare of the people. So the finance minister had said that the king has a responsibility to provide the welfare of the people by abandoning any laxity, by abandoning any relaxity, and governing in line with the dharma, along with the collecting taxes which are in consonance with the dharma. Now, the finance minister had said that Mahabharat provides that the king's most important responsibility is to provide welfare, yoksh game, and for that welfare, any relaxation is to be abandoned, and even the relaxation into the taxes is to be abandoned. So, therefore, no tax relief has been given to the people in this particular budget because we need to collect the money. So, this is something which has been there. Now, guys, this particular budget, first of all, onto the front of federalism, it has taken a very good initiative. Now, what is the initiative taken onto the front of federalism? Basically, over the last 2 years, we have seen this thing that there is a federal friction that has developed. What is this federal friction? Number one, as this health pandemic is going on, the state's revenue has got declined, but state had not got the money. Even the GST compensation that was given to the state, there was also a lot of problem that was there. Now, in this particular year, we see that the GST compensation that was to be given, it will also end. Initially, when the GST came, it was said that for the 5 years, state will be given the compensation on the GST so that they don't face any loss. Clear? Originally, you might be knowing state were not agreeing on the GST. They'll say that, okay, we will face a loss in revenue. So, for 5-year guarantee was given. Now, this guarantee is going to end in this 2022. So, this was one conflict on the federal relation, financial federal conflict. So, for this particular thing, now government had said that 1 lakh crore rupees 50-year interest-free loan pipeline will be provided to the state government so that they can pursue the critical capital spending, so that they can come out with the infrastructure projects in line with the Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti program. Already I told you that the into this particular project, the budget, the focus on PM Gati Shakti will be there. So basically, in order to provide the finances to the state, what has been provided? Federal friction is being reduced, and 1 lakh crore rupees 50-year loan, interest-free loan is being provided so that they can implement the infrastructure projects, digitization reform they can come out with, and urban reforms they can come out with. Moreover, we have seen, guys, from the past 2 days that actually the fiscal deficit of government is increasing a lot. Government is spending a lot more money than it is actually earning. So government had said that actually in order to keep the fiscal deficit in control, what we are doing, we will be listing the Life Insurance Corporation of India, a public listing of the life insurance means LIC will be done, fine, disinvestment is being carried, and whatever the money will be coming by the disinvestment into the LIC, that particular money will be used and fiscal deficit will be reduced. Is it clear? So by the money that will come by the disinvestment from LIC, government expects that there will be a lower fiscal deficit, less than the 6.9% of GDP that was expected. Now there comes the disinvestment. Okay, now understand one particular thing. There is a tagline that government often says, there is no business of government to be in business. Again I'll repeat, there is no business of government to be in business. So government needs to pull out from the industries, the economic sectors that are there, and therefore government is reducing their share and the disinvestment is being carried. Now for every year government come out with a disinvestment target. So into the past, very ambitious kind of disinvestment targets have been taken. For example, disinvestment target of 1.7 lakh crore rupees was taken into the past, but never the government has reached this disinvestment target. So for this particular year, a modest 65,000 crore rupees disinvestment target has just been taken. Now when we talk about this disinvestment, always there are the two type of people. One, people say that this disinvestment is good because now the role of the government in the economy is changing. So there is, see, the state can play two type of role: the role of a rower and the role of a steerer. Role of a rower, it means that as you row a boat, government might drive an economy. However, the other type of role is that government can steer the economy. It can just provide the direction to economy. And when government steers the economy, government will have a minimal role into industries, into the economic ventures. And in order to minimize the government's role, government disinvestment is good. Government needs to pull out and give all these sectors to the private sector. It is provided here. Then guys, there comes a negative role. Negative role says that actually there are certain strategic sectors that are there, fine, and into these strategic sectors government should not pull out. Government should not go for excessive disinvestment. Is it clear? Because if you will give everything to the private, then the private will just be working on efficiency, but actually the government enterprise are not about efficiency. They are not just about profitability. They are also to create employment. They are also to create the good quality social goods, fine. So for the disinvestment, there are the mixed views that are there always. You need to know both, fine. The role of a government as a steerer, if the government will be the steerer, government will need to do more disinvestment and pull out, fine. If government has more strategic role, no, government should not go for disinvestment. However, what we can say, disinvestment can neither completely it should be stopped nor it should be taken very aggressively. Rather, a madhyam marg in the disinvestment government needs to take. What is this madhyam marg? Government need to disinvest not onto the basis of profitability but onto the basis of strategic importance. The industries which are strategically important, even if they are making profit or not, there the disinvestment should be taken very carefully, fine. So this is something which we can take from here. Then further moving on, the health sector. Okay, the health sector. Now on the health sector, there are certain coverages that had come. Number one, first of all, when we talk about the health sector, there is the budget estimate says that 16% more allocations will be given to the health sector, fine. 16% more allocations will be given. Number one, how much crore, not important for your examination. Now within the health budget, the most important thing that has come is that government has emphasized much more funding for the Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Health Infrastructure Mission, PM Abhim. For this particular scheme, the allocation has been more. Now how much allocation, though it is written here from 585 to this much, but these numbers are not important. I have told you many number of times. So the spending has been increased. Now what is this PM Abhim? Let's understand. Very important for your prelims examination as well as your for mains examination, GS paper number 2, developmental sector and the social justice. This PM Abhim, for which the spending is increased, it has major three components in it. Number one, the PM Abhim aims to fill the critical gap in the public health infrastructure. Now you see, in the rural areas, in the blocks, in the villages, the health infrastructure, primary health care center, community health care center, sub centers, they are not there. Sub center is there, Fine. Primary healthcare centers are there? They are not there. So actually, to build the basic public health infrastructure into these areas, the PM Abhim will provide the support for infrastructure. Fine. So primary healthcare in both urban as well as rural areas will be built. Number one. Number two, the PM Abhim, it also focuses on providing the full range of diagnostic services in the public healthcare system. So you go to a hospital, public health, primary healthcare center, they don't have the basic diagnostic test, a blood test, an x-ray, fine, and many other advanced tests they are also not having. So for these diagnostic tests, the people have to go to the private labs and they are paying a lot of money. Now this particular money actually increases the out of pocket expenditure. Now the out of pocket expenditure, it is around 62% in India. Now what is this out of pocket expenditure of 62%? Very simple, I'll explain. It means that the total expenditure that is happening, let's say 100 rupees expenditure is happening on the health in India, then 62 rupees is out of pocket expenditure. Out of pocket expenditure means the money for health, for which the health expenditure for which I did not had any money. I sold my gold, I sold some of my property, and then I came out with arranged for money. So this is the out of pocket expenditure, and 62% is out of pocket expenditure. And in diagnostics, a lot of money is being spent. So in the public healthcare setups only, the diagnostic services will be provided to the people. This is the second target of this PM Abhim. Then the third. Now PM Abhim had also provided that we need to combat the future epidemics and pandemics. And in order to fight with the future epidemics and pandemics, we need to work on surveillance. We need to identify the future epidemics before they turn into a problematic phenomena. So therefore, we will be developing the 80 viral diagnostics labs. Fine, throughout the country, 80 viral diagnostics labs will be built. Moreover, the new National Institute of Virology will also be 4 new institutes of national virology, 4 new NIV, National Institute of Virology, will also be established. Fine, this is under the PM Abhim. Moreover, PM Abhim also provides this particular thing, that there will be the regional research platform for WHO Southeast Asia region that will be developed. So regional Southeast Asia research center will also be developed. This is something that has been provided. Moreover, guys, after this thing, there are certain other initiatives that has also been taken. Fine. What are the other initiatives that is there? So government has also provided that in order to fight the future pandemics, we will also be improving the pandemic preparedness. So biosecurity will be strengthened. This is something which had come. Now this is not the part of PM Abhim. Apart from the PM Abhim, this particular initiative will be taken. So biosecurity will be strengthened, and then basically the mental health has been talked about a lot. Even we have taken a lot of articles talking on to the mental health. Guys, if we see in India, the mental health has not been emphasized, but because of this pandemic, the mental health have become an important problematic thing. So therefore the government will be starting the national tele mental health program. Under this national tele mental health program, find 23 tele mental health centers will be launched, and it will be done under the supervision of the NIMHANS Bengaluru, that is the National Institute of Mental Health and Neurosciences. So it will be helping in establishing the 23 tele mental health care centers. Now see this particular thing. When we talk about the mental health care, providing it into the rural areas is very problematic thing, because in rural areas you don't have the primary health care center, and there providing the psychiatric care, providing the mental care is not at all possible. So therefore, in the areas where functional physical brick and mortar facilities are not there, through the tele initiatives, the mental health care can be provided. So this is one very good initiative that is there. Is it clear? Now guys, understand one particular thing. In 2020, in ethics paper number 4, there was a question was, what do you mean by an ethical caregiving state? So what is an ethical caregiving state? Ethical caregiving state is one which gives you justice, which builds your capabilities, which gives you the choice, and which works in your emancipation across all the things. And into this particular thing, mental health care cannot be ignored if the India has to be an ethical caregiving state. And on the mental health care, good initiative has been taken. So this is the health initiatives that came. Now guys, on this particular thing, there is one editorial also. Let's see what has been contained in the editorial. So basically, when we talk about the health, first of all, the budget, it has provided that the primary health care has been very important. Budget has emphasized very good. Now the budget has provided that now we need to go beyond the conventional meaning of health. Now conventional meaning of health has been expanded, and within the health, the water, sanitation, nutrition, air pollution control has also been included. When we talk about the expenditure onto the health, now 2.1% of GDP we are spending on the health. 2.1% of the GDP. Understand this particular thing. In 2017, there came the national health policy. National health policy said that minimum expenditure on the health in India should be at least 2.5% of GDP. 2.5%. After that, recently the 15th Finance Commission was constituted. You might be knowing 15th Finance Commission is constituted under the article number 280 of the Indian Constitution. 15th Finance Commission also provided that please at least increase the expenditure on health to at least 2.5% of GDP. So we have reached to 2.1%, and every year in last 2 years 0.4% increment is there, and by this particular speed, by 2025 we will reach the 2.5% of GDP expenditure onto the health. This we will do by 2025. So this is some trajectory. Now guys, understand, these are the datas which are important, which you can use in your examination, and I am personally believing that today's video will provide you the matter fodder for at least every section of your GS mains. Fine. Then further moving on. After that, it has been provided that COVID-19 health emergency had come. Health programs are there, but actually the increase is less anticipated. Find the National Health Mission, which have the rural component and urban component. National Health Mission, it had received a 7.4% increase over the money that has been there. But guys, within the National Health Mission, the rural component is fine, but National Urban Health Mission, urban component is not being focused too much. So budget should have provided more funding for the urban health mission. Is it clear? Which is actually moving little bit slowly. We need to, basically there are actually the health and wellness centers which are to be established. Fine. Now what is this health and wellness center? I'll tell you. There was one government's flagship scheme, Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan. Under this Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan, government has provided that number one, up to 5 lakh rupees of insurance for secondary and tertiary treatment we will provide. Fine. More than 50 crore rupee, 10 crore household and 50 crore people will be provided a insurance up to 5 lakh rupees. That was one under the Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan. Apart from this, Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Abhiyan also provided that throughout the country 1.5 lakh health and wellness centers will also be developed. Fine, this scheme came. But now for making 1.5 lakh health and wellness center, you need money now. So the money is not being given. Though 7.5% increase is there, but we needed more money. This is something which has been talked about. Is it clear? So therefore, onto the urban health mission, our health and wellness centers are to be developed. Give more money. That is something which is needed. Then after that, Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, its funding is unchanged. Is it clear? Then guys, basically here it is provided that which particular initiative, how much money is there. I will not ask you to go too much into the detail in actual spending increase for every health initiative that is there, not needed for your exam, but I have written here. In case you have interest, you can read it from the PDF which you can get from the Telegram channel. Find the Telegram, this entire PDF that I am using here, you can get from our Telegram channel. The link is provided into the description box. Now further moving on to the next sector, agriculture sector. Now when we talk about the agriculture sector, guys, agriculture is a very important sector because a large number of population is still dependent directly and indirectly onto the agriculture. Now the allocation for the agriculture sector, they are around 3.84% of our entire budget. So the entire budget's 3.84 percentage part is given to the agriculture. Last year around 3.92% of the budget was devoted to the agriculture. So from last year it has little bit reduced. Now guys, first of all, when we talk about the reduction into the agriculture budget that has happened, the people are saying that this is not a right approach. Why? Because this particular year we see that the rabi crop has been very much good. The rabi crop, the wheat will be good, and because of that particular thing, government actually need to procure more of wheat under the public distribution system. Fine, you know this thing, government announces the MSP, minimum support price, and under the minimum support price government procures the wheat. Now, as more wheat crop is there, more procurement is to be done, and for more procurement you need to have actually given more money. But what you did, you have reduced the allocation for the agriculture. That is something which is criticized. Now it has been said that out of the schemes that have come for the agriculture, only one scheme is there for which there is extended, which is where more funding has been given, that is the Blue Revolution Initiative. Blue Revolution Initiative. Now the Blue Revolution Initiative is this. See, we have more than, fine, the coastline of India, we have more than 7500 kilometer of coastline, and actually by this 7500 kilometer of coastline, India get a lot of access to the marine resources. And when we talk about the marine resources, there is the aquaculture, there's a fish culture, there are other many other marine resources that are there. Is it clear? So to actually tap this marine resource, the Blue Revolution has been emphasized. Is it clear? So for fishery sector, fishery sector, aquaculture, seafood processing, Blue Revolution is there, and therefore for this Blue Revolution, the budget spending has been increased. It has nearly been doubled. Now the numbers are not actually important. Fine, this is about this particular thing. Then after that, basically, there is one more thing that has happened. Fine. Now understand, this is very important. This is very important. See, over the past few days, what has happened, just a minute. Over the past few days, the prime minister had repeatedly talked about the zero budget national farming. Now what is this zero budget national farming? Understand this particular thing. Now what happened in 1960s, we came out with the green revolution. In 1960s we came out with the green revolution. In the green revolution, a lot of fertilizers, a lot of pesticides, insecticides, high yield variety type of seeds, they were started to be used. Now because of these all chemical inputs that came in agriculture, the productivity increased. We became a self-sufficient agricultural nation. Fine, that happened. But there was a negative cost of this particular thing. The toxicity into the soil increased. Is it clear? Toxicity in the soil increased. The chemical inputs into the agricultural crops increased, which had a lot of health impacts. It is having the ecological impacts. So in the 1990s, actually one of a initiative became very much popular. And what was this particular initiative? That was the zero budget natural farming. That was the zero budget zero budget national farming. Okay, now when we talk about this zero budget natural farming, in this particular thing, there will be no use of chemicals. This particular initiative was actually propounded by an agriculturalist, that is the Subhash Palekar. So the Subhash Palekar came out with this zero budget natural farming. Okay, so the Subhash Palekar came out with this, that without the chemicals, we can actually grow up the agrarian crops. Now this particular thing is being emphasized from the Prime Minister from 2 years. Okay, so it is actually, guys, just one thing I want to say. It is not the national farming, it is natural farming. Okay, I think it has been written by mistake here as a natural. Fine, I'll correct it. So it is zero budget natural farming. Now without the chemical, we will be growing the crops. Now the Ganga has been identified as a national focal point where this process will be promoted. Fine, Ganga has been identified. So around the Ganga, the funding will be provided, the land parcels will be identified, and the farmers will be encouraged to promote the zero budget natural farming into these particular places. Now guys, what had happened for the organic farming, for the natural farming, already we have one particular scheme that is there, Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana. Now under this Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, more funding is being given so that for the natural farming, the farmers can be given certain incentives. So this is the scheme which promotes the organic farming. Moreover guys, what had happened, all the initiatives with respect to the organic farming, all the initiatives with respect to the natural farming, they have merged under a big umbrella scheme, and the name of that umbrella scheme is Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. So under the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, now the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana is there, and within the Paramparagat Krishi Vikas Yojana, all the organic agriculture and natural farming initiatives are there. Now guys, as we are talking about this zero budget natural farming, what is this zero budget natural farming? Let's see this particular thing also. Within this zero budget natural farming, there are the four components that are there. Number one, Jeev Amrut. Jeev Amrut. What is this Jeev Amrut? In the agriculture, in the field, there will be a mixture of cow dung, cow urine, jaggery, pearl's flour, water. Fine, that will be applied onto the farm land. Now, this Jeev Amrut will increase the productivity of the land. So, there will be the application of Jeev Amrut number one. Second, into this zero budget natural farming, what will be there? There will be the Bij Amrit. Bij Amrit. Now, what is this Bij Amrit? It will be a kind of a paste. It will be a kind of a concoction of the neem leaves. Neem leaves will be there. Neem pulp will be there. Tobacco, green chilies, and this particular kind of a paste, it will keep the pest away, and for the pest management it can be effective. You don't need to use insecticide, you don't need to use pesticide. So Bij Amrit will be the second pillar of the zero budget natural farming. Third pillar is Achdan. Now, Achdan, fine, it will protect the top soil during the cultivation and does not destroy it. So when you are tilling, fine, when you are tilling the agricultural field, the top soil, it gets disturbed. The top soil many a times had a lot of nutrients. So protect the top soil, there will be the Achdan, that is the mulching that will be done. And then the Vapasa. Now, what is this Vapasa? Within the soil, there the practices will be such that there is retention of the air molecules into the soil and the water molecules into the soil. If there will be the good number of air molecules and water molecules, it will help in reducing the irrigation requirement. You need not to go give more water through irrigation. So, because of these four pillars, Jeev Amrut, Bij Amrit, Achdan, Vapasa, these are the four things, guys, very, very important for your examination. If these specific points you are having, and these if you are writing into the answers, it actually skyrockets the probability of the marks that you will get. So on to the zero budget natural farming, a lot of emphasis is being given, and the Ganga districts will be the focal point. Keep it in your mind. This is what has happened. After that, guys, the digitization of agriculture will also be done. Digitization of the agriculture will also be done. Now, what is this digitization of agriculture? The government had said that the Kisan drones will be used. Kisan drones will be used. First of all, what these Kisan drones will be doing? These Kisan drones will be done for the crop assessment. Now see, many a times there are some kind of a natural events that happened, crops gets destroyed. For that particular thing, Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana is already there. But for the assessment of the crop which got destroyed because of some natural event, we will be using the drones. And not even just only into the such event, but even normally also, if the crop assessment has been done, it can be done by using the drones. Then the digitization of land record is to be done. So tracking the land parcels, for that the drones can be utilized. Spraying of insecticide can be carried by the drones. Fine. Moreover, guys, we have seen that the locust attack happens around the month of June and July. These locusts are coming. Fine. Now for this controlling these locust attacks also, the drones can be used. Fine. The nutrients can be sprayed onto the fields by the drones. So the Kisan drones will be used. Now for developing and deploying these Kisan drones, government will be coming in agreement with the private players, and through PPP, that is the public private partnership model, this Kisan drone initiative will be launched. Now, guys, funding will be provided by the NABARD. Okay, there is one very interesting word that has come here. Please see this word. What is this word? There will be okay, I will explain this particular concept here, just fine. So basically, see what is provided. A fund, what is provided? Okay, so it has been provided that a fund with a blended capital raised under the co-investment model will be facilitated. What is this now? The co-investment blended capital model. So this blended capital, it is very important, and in your UPSC prelims a question could be asked. See, basically PPP model will be there. Now government, if it is giving some money, government can give money like as a grant. Okay, you keep the money, use it. Government can give the money like as a loan. Okay, fine. And government can give a money as a equity capital. Fine. Now we will be launching the drones here. Now in the drones, the private player will be coming. So this blended capital means that the government is giving the money. Some part of this money will be treated as a loan, which have to be returned back to the government. Some part will be treated as a grant. They can keep it, and some part will be treated as a equity. Fine. So whatever the company will be made, which will be deploying the drones, in which the government will get some partnership, government will get some equity equity shares. Is it clear or not? So this is about the blended capital that is there. Blended capital is a money which will which will have equity element, loan element, grant element, all the element will be there. So such kind of blended capital support will be provided by NABARD for these Kisan drones. Such support will be provided by the NABARD for the Kisan drones. That is something we need to see. Okay, then guys, after that, the budget has also identified that we also need to use the technology. We also need to use the technology for the unique land parcel identification number. Now, what is this unique land parcel identification number? See, just a minute, I'll erase it so that you can see it more clearly. Now, this government has also talked that unique land parcel identification number will be done. So basically the registration of land is to be done, and every land parcel will be given a unique identification number. So this is something which is to be done. Now you understand these things, that many a times when we see the farm lands, there are no proper deeds, there are no proper land ownership agreements that are there. So now the land registration of the farms are being done, and every farm will be given a unique land parcel identification number, and through this unique land identification number it can be known that okay, who is the owner of which land. So the land disputes will be resolved. Is it clear or not? So all these are the initiatives in the agriculture sector that have been taken. After that, now moving on, the next is the infrastructure sector. Now guys, what had happened into the infrastructure sector? I have divided the infrastructure sector in many of the sub components, and every component will be seeing here. Number one is the railways. Now what has happened into the railway? First of all guys, in the railway there is a huge budgetary allocation that has been given, particularly the capital expenditure that has been given to the railways. It has been expended, and 2.4 lakh crore rupees capital expenditure will be made into the railways. The support has been given. Now what is this capital expenditure? Capital expenditure is that expenditure which you will do, and you will make certain assets. Now under the railways there are large number of projects that have been announced, fine, but these projects are stalled for so many of the years. These projects are not being completed because the money is not there. So actually, in order to complete all these infrastructural projects of the railways, this much money has been given. It will enhance the capability of our national transporter rail. Find all many of the stalled projects, passenger amenities, passenger safety, upgradation of the railways, upgradation of the tracks, upgradation of the locomotives, engines, etc. can be done by this particular thing. Moreover, see, giving a capital expenditure has always been a good into the times of economic crisis, because the capital expenditure, the money that will be spent, it will create more employment. If our railways will get good infrastructure, the railways capability will increase. Always it is very cheap to transport the goods via the railways. Railways are not only cheap, railways are also ecologically good substitute when the movement through the road and highways is there. Clear? So in enhancing the railway is a very good move that has been there. Moreover guys, government has also provided that the 2000 kilometer railway network will come under the Kavach. It will come under Kavach. Now what is this Kavach? Okay, what is this Kavach? Just a minute. Kavach. Now basically railway safety has been a very important thing. Now when we talk about the railway safety, many a times we see that the railways, they collide with each other. Railway accidents happen. Because of that, the life and properties, a lot of life and property is lost. So the Kavach is an indigenous technology where the anti-collision devices will be fixed into the railways. Fine, these anti-collision devices will notify if there is another train onto the same track. Fine, so it will notify, and by that particular thing what will happen, the railway accidents can be avoided. So this Kavach technology will be fitted on 2000 kilometer railway network into this particular year. That is another thing that has happened. After that, one station one product concept has also been envisaged. Fine, one station one product concept. Now what is this one station one product? See, many of the stations, they have some peculiar product. For example, Agra, the petha is very famous there. Is it clear? So different cities, different products are important, and onto these railway stations, those products will be popularized. Is it clear? By this, the local artisans, the local people will get employment. So this is something. And then 100 PM Gati Shakti cargo terminals will be developed. 100 PM Gati Shakti cargo terminals. Now what is these cargo terminals? There is a lot of movement of the containers, a lot of movement of the goods that is going from the railways. So these terminals will handle these cargoes. Multimodal connectivity will be supported by these terminals. What is this multimodal connectivity? See, understand this particular thing. If I am here in Delhi, and from Delhi I want to send some container of goods, let's say to the Dubai. Now what will happen? Some part of this container will travel through road, some part of the journey will be done by road, then that particular container will be put on a train, then that train will put that container on a ship, and then through ship that will be further be reaching to the destination. So the multimodal connectivity, road to railway, railway to ship, so different modes are there. Now guys, what is needed? We need to enhance the multimodal connectivity. If I had given my container, let's say, to the railway, it needs to be the railway's headache that they need to arrange it to be shifted on a ship. They need to arrange all these kind of things. So multimodal connectivity is to be enhanced, and for these multimodal connectivity, the cargo terminals are being developed. So 100 pm Gati Shakti cargo terminals will be developed, which can cooperate and which can facilitate this multimodal connectivity through different mediums. Then next guys is the theme onto the urbanization. Next theme is onto the urbanization. Fine, this was about the railways. Now what is about the urbanization? According to the finance minister and many of the reports that had come, fine, by 2047, fine, the half of the population, 50% of the country will be living into the urban areas. Clear? Moreover, the 12th 5-year plan has said that the urban areas are the engines of growth. They are the engines of growth. According to the 12th 5-year plan, it was provided that 65 to 70% of GDP at that point of a time was coming from the urban areas. So urban cities are to be improved. Now when we talk about the urban areas, there is the ease of living which is not there into the urban areas. Pollution, population, poor conditions of poor sanitation condition, poor hygiene, every these things are there. So for the urbanization, budget has emphasized. What budget has provided? Budget has provided that number one, we need to nurture the mega cities. We need to nurture the mega cities, and number two, we need to facilitate the development into the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, because they are the future. Tier 2, 3 cities are future and mega cities are the present. Both are to be nurtured. And for this particular thing, the budget has provided that we need to establish a high level panel on urban policies. Now this high level panel on urban policies will have the urban planners, economists, institutions, fine, and they will give recommendations with respect to the urban policies. How the urban areas are to be developed, what money is to be given, how the capacity building, planning, governance can be given a more importance. All these particular thing will be taken by this high level panel on the urban policies. Moreover guys, it has also been proposed that building bylaws, town planning, transit oriented development, everything will be revamped. Is it clear? Multimodal transit will be revamped. Moreover, the budget has also provided this particular thing that academic institutions, fine, which are involved in architecture and planning, they will also be identified, and the institutions of excellence, the centers of excellence will be created. See, architectures, urban planners, city planners, town planners we need. So therefore we need the skilled personnel, skilled human resource. So therefore the center of excellence for the architecture and town planning will be identified. They will be given the monetary support also. Clear? So this is something which is coming for urbanization. Now guys, keep it in your mind, every of this topic, railway will covered in GS paper number 3, infrastructure. Urbanization, a specific topic is there in your GS paper number 1, urbanization and its problem. So if any question comes on urbanization, you can talk the recommendations given here directly in your examination. Understand this particular thing. So all these things will be important. Then after that, basically in the infrastructure, the third theme that comes here is the renewable energy. Now we know this particular thing that at COP26 into the Glasgow, COP26, the Prime Minister has committed the net zero emission by 2070. It means that the total emission that we are doing, it will be equivalent to the total emission that will absorb it. There will be net zero at the end of the day. We have agreed to achieve it in 2070. So therefore, to achieve this net zero, there are some other things that we need to do. For example, what we need to do? We need to increase the share of the renewable energy sources. We need to increase the non-fossil energy capacity of India. So the target has been taken already by India. It is not into the budget. Already the target has been taken that 5 lakh megawatt of energy will be developed by 2030. 50% of India's energy requirement will be met from the renewable energy by 2030. 5 lakh megawatt of energy by 2030 will be coming from non-fossil. 50% of our energy requirement will be met by the renewable sources. Solar is a very important there. So therefore guys, what has been there, we have done an additional allocation into the production linked incentive scheme for the manufacturing of the solar modules, solar panels, solar photovoltaic cells. All these solar modules, for their manufacturing, incentive has been given under the production linked incentive scheme. What is this production linked incentive scheme? The companies, the manufacturing units will be incentivized that if you will do some extra manufacturing, incremental manufacturing, you will be given a incentive of 2 to 5%. So under the PLI, additional money has been given. This is something which has happened. After that guys, the SEZ Act will be changed. SEZ. What are these SEZ? First of all, SEZ stands for the Special Economic Zones. Now, when we talk about the special economic zones, understand this particular thing. The special economic zones, these are the areas which have specifically been developed for enhancing the export. In this SEZ, the lands or basically the areas will be identified where there will be very liberal policies, liberal financial policies. Now, in 2006, we came out with the SEZ to promote the export in India. Within the SEZ, a lot of incentives were given within the SEZ. But guys, what happened over the last few years? The SEZ, they are losing their attractiveness. How they are losing their attractiveness? Understand this particular thing. Basically, when you are giving the incentives, they were given for a particular period. Now 2006 2022, so many years have happened, fine, more than you can say that 16 years have happened. So now the incentives are not being given, fine, all those dates have got expired. So therefore now a new SEZ Act will be made, and into this SEZ Act the state will be given a lot of power. So the states, they will be made as the partners, they will be made as partners. Within the SEZ, there is a minimum alternative taxes that are being imposed into the earlier act. All these particular things will be removed. There was a sunset clause that was there. Now what is the sunset clause? There were the incentives that were given up for a particular limited time window, for let's say 10 year, 15 year. Now these 10-15 years have been passed, because since 2006 it is going on. So this sunset clause, it will be changed. Fine, minimum alternative tax that is there, it will be changed. State will be given more power under this new SEZ Act that will be there. Fine, so this is something that has happened. Fine, so the state will be made as a partner for development into the this is the development. So this is all about this particular thing. And now guys, moving to the next. Now the next is the taxation. Next is the taxation. Okay, now just guys, if we analyze this particular, okay, the last infrastructure wala part, if we analyze this particular thing, there are certain points that we need to take, certain points that we need to take. Number one point is that basically the public investment, its share has been increased in GDP to 2.9% from 2.2% last year. So for the investment, we have increased the share from 2.2 to 2.9%. This is something very good. Now budget is expecting that it will start a virtuous investment led output and employment strategy. See, basically there is one word that has been used here, crowding in effect. Government is trying to bring the crowding in effect by this investment. What is this crowding in? Before that, you need to understand the crowding out. What is this crowding out? Many a times government takes a lot of money from the market. Government is borrowing a lot of money. When government takes a lot of money, what happens? The private sector don't get money from the financial institution, and the private sector is not able to develop. This is the crowding out. Now crowding in is opposite. Government will put a lot of money through the investment so that the private sector gets that money and the private sector uses that particular money. So now by this, all the investment that we have seen into infrastructure, government is trying to bring the crowding in effect. Keep in your mind, a standalone question in PT prelims could be asked. Crowding in, government pushing the money so that private sector gets the money and can use it. So this is something government wants to achieve. Is it clear? Now guys, the expenditure that have been done, it is a welcome step. But the another thing that government needs to understand is that the tax the realization of this investment, this all money will come only when the tax revenues will be more robust. So government needs to focus on the good tax realization. We need to come out with the taxation reforms. Moreover, this budget had not addressed the employment issue because of the COVID-19 pandemic that had come. Actually, MG Narega is a social safety net that was there, but MG Narega funding has been reduced. We will see just in few minutes. So for employment, much has not been done. This is a critical analysis. Then guys, the next thing that has been provided, that actually the share of manufacturing in our GDP has got stagnated from so many years. See, actually, when we talk about the manufacturing, just 15% of GDP is contributed by the manufacturing sector. With the coming of this pandemic and this slowdown, our manufacturing sector had actually gone very much down. So for this manufacturing sector, nothing has been done. When we talk about the manufacturing, guys, actually in 2015 we came out with this Make in India initiative. In this Make in India initiative, it was said that basically by it was said that the 25% of GDP will be coming from manufacturing sector by the Make in India. This was the target, to bring 25% of GDP of India by manufacturing sector. But what is the share? Just 15%. What is the share? Just 15%. So manufacturing and Make in India has not been very much successful. Government should focus on this particular thing. After that, we talk about this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. We say that we'll reduce our reliance onto the China. But what the research shows? Research shows that our dependence on China has increased. Earlier the trade deficit was with China was $57 billion, but now the trade deficit is $64.5 billion. So from 2018 to 2021, our dependence on China has increased. Guys, please use this particular data in your answers. The next thing that has been provided, that production linked incentive scheme had come from many of the technology sectors, but what is the result? What is the improvement? Whether manufacturing is going in some positive direction or not, it has not been solved. And then basically India tried to bring the ease of doing. Fine, though ease of doing increased in India, but by that ease of doing also nothing changed onto the industrial front. So we need to evaluate our manufacturing sector policies. So this is all which has been provided here. Now moving to the next article. Now the taxation reforms. So guys, the taxation reforms, very simple things are there. Income tax slabs have not changed, clear, but the taxpayers, they have been given additional 2 years to update their returns. In case I forgot to mention some of my income, I can update it for 2 years. What it shows? It shows increasing faith in the citizens. Clear. Second, 15% tax concession will be provided to the newly incorporated companies. 15% concession will be provided to, the 15% taxation rate, a concessional tax rate will be provided onto the newly incorporated enterprises so that new manufacturing industries start in India. Custom duties will be rationalized for the electronic goods. Fine, today we are, let's say, manufacturing the mobile. So for the mobile, there are many of the components, inputs that are imported. So onto that, the duties will be reduced. Then International Financial Service Center Gujarat GIFT, there the income tax incentives will be given. Basically guys, this IFSC, International Finance Service Center, that we have built in Gujarat, it is a specific territory where the financial services will be developed. So there the tax incentives are being given. Then the world class universities, they will provide the courses in financial management, etc. Fine. Now they are not very much important. This is important. The International Arbitration Center will be developed in GIFT City in Gujarat for the timely settlement of disputes. So whenever the trade things, when the trade matters are there, the disputes happen between the government, between the different entities. So for to solving these disputes, International Arbitration Center will be developed into the Gujarat GIFT City. Moreover, the finance ministry has also provide more benefit to the startup sector. Now understand this particular thing. The startups, they are within the 10 year of their incorporation, they are provided that the 3 year tax incentive window will be provided to them. Understand that whenever a startup comes, from the day one, the startup is not profitable. For few years, the startup will make the loss. So it has been provided that in this 10 year window, when the startup will be started, if it makes the profit, first 3 year profit will not be taxed. A tax holiday is being given. Now, which startup are eligible to take this 3 year tax holiday out of first 10 years? Only the startups which were registered till March 2022. Now this window has been increased for 1 more year, that is by 2023. So this is something which has come onto the startup ecosystem, startup front. Understand this particular thing, that India is having the third largest tech ecosystem, startup ecosystem into the world. We have third largest startup ecosystem into the world, and by this particular thing, the startup system will get much of a boost. So this is something which had come here. Then further moving on, guys, on the social sector, what has come now? MG Narega, you know, it is a very important demand driven scheme. Under the MG Narega, 100 days of unskilled work is provided into the rural households. Fine, 100 days unskilled work is provided, wages are provided. Now during the time of pandemic, MG Narega was a very important scheme. 1.1 lakh crore rupees were provided into the MG Narega, and 11 crore workers who returned back to their houses because of this reverse migration, they got employment under the MG Narega scheme. They got employment under the MG Narega scheme. Now this particular year, the government's funding for the MG Narega is just this much, which is 25% lower than the last year's funding. 25% slash into the MG Narega has been there, and the people, they are saying that this is actually a very bad thing that has happened because the pandemic is not still over. So therefore, you should have actually increased the MG Narega spending. Then on the education front, government has proposed that a digital university will be made. Fine, we will develop the e-content for the schools. Educational TV channel scheme will be enhanced. Right now 12 educational channels are there, so from 12 to 200 educational channels will be developed, from 12 to 200 educational channel which can provide the e-content to the children. Then there will be the virtual labs that will also be developed. Fine, so there will be 750 virtual labs for science and mathematics, which will also develop the high quality content for the children. So online education is being provided by the government, but guys, this thing is not appreciated by people say that the school closure, it had impacted the education, and the online education is not the very desirable kind of education. It is not very effective education. Open the school, build the physical infrastructure. This e-education, online education has not worked. This is something which has been provided. After that, guys, the Anganwadis are being empowered. Anganwadis are being provided. 2 lakh Anganwadis across the country, they will be upgraded. So with respect to the Anganwadis, last year government came out with the Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0 Abhiyan. Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0 scheme is there. Under this Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0, new generation Anganwadis will be developed, which will have a better infrastructure. Audio visual aids will be there. Clean energy will be provided to these Anganwadis. Fine. Improved environment will be provided for the early childhood education. So under the Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0, empowerment of Anganwadis through providing them technology, providing them better environment will be there. Clear? So this is something that has been done. Now guys, as I have used this word Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0, it is an umbrella scheme which includes a large number of initiatives. This Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0, it includes Anganwadi services, second Poshan Abhiyan, which is for nutrition, scheme for adolescent girls, national creche scheme. All these are included into the Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0. So all these things will be empowered. Now guys, critical analysis. So critical analysis goes like this, that see, when we talk about the social sector in India, the social sector is not very much good. There is actually a lot of criticism. For example, onto the Human Development Index, we have 131 out of 149 rank. On Global Hunger Index, we have 101 out of 116 rank. Oxfam's inequality report has provided that India is seeing the K-shape recovery. In this K-shape recovery, what happens? One sector is growing and other sector is not growing. So inequality is increasing. So a lot of inequality is there. India is one of the most unequal country into the world. This is provided by the Oxfam's inequality report, and therefore the social sector support is very much important. Now the present budget has talked about the expansion into the government spending onto the social sector, but actually the money which has been given is not very much high. Is it clear? The budget has taken a conservative view. Is it clear? Budget has taken a conservative view into this particular thing. Good, the spending should have been more. Into this particular thing, guys, it has been provided that when we talk about the learning among children, fine, one class, one TV channel, 200 TV channels, e-content you are talking about, but it is not something that is needed. We need to open up the school. We need to make the physical school, physical infrastructure is the need of our one thing. Second thing, basically Pradhan Mantri Poshan Shakti Nirman, PM Poshan is there. What is this PM Poshan? Last year, the midday meal scheme's name was changed to the PM Poshan. So midday meal scheme's name changed to the PM Poshan, but the money that is given for the midday meal or the PM Poshan, it has been reduced from 11,500 crore to 10,200 crore rupees. So the money is to be given because now more people are hungry. Onto the global hunger index, our rank has declined. Then it has been provided that Department of Health and Family Welfare's budget has gone up by 16%, but still much more is needed. This is something that is there. Then guys, in the social sector, next comes the food. In the social sector, next comes the food. So we have the public distribution system under which the subsidized food is given. We have the National Food Security Act. Under the National Food Security Act, subsidized food grains are given to the people. But guys, it covers only 60% people. The absolute, now I have taken this thing into the editorial also, I think yesterday. See, there is an absolute number of beneficiaries that will be given the benefit, but National Food Security Act came in 2013. It used the data of 2011. Now we are in 2022. The new number of poor have increased in India. More number of poor have come now there in India. So basically, under this PDS, only 60% people are being covered. Large number of people, they are not included under it. After that, Sakshan Anganwadi, just we have seen. Under this Sakshan Anganwadi, fine, and maternity and entitlement scheme, fine, the allocations have actually been reduced. This is something. MG Narega, the allocation has been reduced. So this particular thing could have been improved. Now guys, very good conclusion has been provided here. According to the World Social Protection Report 2020-2022, which has been brought by the ILO, it has provided that India's spending onto the social protection is just 1.4% of GDP. According to the World Social Protection Report, fine, I'll erase it. According to the World Social Protection Report 2020-2022, India's spending onto the social sector, social spending is just 1.4% of GDP. It needs to be at least 2.5% of GDP. Is it clear? Fine. Then, therefore, we need to improve more. Moreover, budget onto the health and education, they are very much desirable. They are at just around 3%. They need to be 6% at least. So this is something which are to be done here. So guys, please do use this particular data. Okay, meanwhile, let's take a little bit doubts that have been there. Okay, sir, please tell the book's name that you are reading. Okay, so I am reading a many basically, fine, so it is not one book, fine, I read one book and then I move. So right now I am reading the I'm reading the Ryan Holiday, fine, Ryan Holiday. So the Ryan Holiday's book series is there onto the Stoics, fine, the stillness is the key, ego is the enemy. So Ryan Holiday's books right now I am reading, fine. Okay, you provide ethics class. I am having problems with ethic concept. Okay, Bishwadeep, you can contact me directly onto the Telegram. Fine. It's natural. Yes. Okay. Swamitva Yojana is also there for the drone. Yes, it is there. Fine. People are not getting minimum. Also, people are not getting minimum wage. Yes. Fine. Creche scheme. Creche scheme is that where the children, the people can leave their children and their children will be given a daycare. That is the creche scheme. So young toddlers, 2-year, 3-year-old children, they can be left in a creche. Okay, thank you Lakshmi, you are liking it. Okay, so this is about the coverage on social. Now moving to the next. Then there are some other initiatives that are also there. Sovereign green bonds that are there. Sovereign green bonds scheme that has been announced. So around the world, these green bonds have become very popular. What are the green bonds? Government will raise the money and that particular money will actually be used for the green infrastructural projects. Clear? So we will be raising money through the green bonds. Fine. Around the world, the green investing has become very popular. In India also that will be done. Then guys, on the cryptocurrencies, nothing had come, but government had said that digital rupee will be introduced by 2020-2023. Understand this particular thing. This digital rupee is not a cryptocurrency. What is this digital rupee? As you have a physical currency, there will be a digital rupee that will be announced. There will be a e-wallet that will be provided, and onto this e-wallet, Reserve Bank of India is working. Under this e-wallet, you can keep your digital rupee as you are transferring now money in the Paytm, in other. In the same way, this digital rupee directly can be transferred to the people. It is not a cryptocurrency. Understand this particular thing. So this digital currency will bring efficient and cheaper currency management system. The advantage is like this: when the physical cash is there, there is a lot of cost of maintaining that physical cash. So directly a digital currency will come, which can be transferred from a e-wallet. Fine. This is something that is coming. Then guys, the startups will be emphasized to work facilitate the Drone Shakti initiative. What is this Drone Shakti? Drone Shakti is it means that the application of drone as a service. What is the application of drone as a service? Use drone for food delivery, for drug delivery, for other kind of governance, for the law and order. Use the drone, guys. Few days back, I don't remember the date, but I have taken one clipping of the newspaper article in our newspaper where we have seen that all the ministries have been provided that how they can use the drone. A very good article. If anybody knows the date, please write it into the comment box. So drone have a lot of utility in internal security management, in law and order management, in drug delivery, in food delivery, in other kind of things. So drone need to be leveraged, and for this particular thing, what is provided, it has been said that the ITIs in the different states, they will provide the training for the drone to the drone technicians, and how to do this drone repairing, drone management, etc. So ITIs will provide the training to the youth for the drones, and drones should be leveraged. So this is something which is provided. Then the budget has allocated the fund for the Afghanistan also. Now the Ministry of External Affairs had specifically given a fund so that they can help the humanitarian assistance in Afghanistan. 200 crore rupees will be spent on Afghanistan. ME has also been given a funding for Myanmar also. Fine, so that we can support the Myanmar. Guys, the biggest funding that we give is to Bhutan. Every year, this is around the money that is given to the Bhutan. Fine, this is the biggest allocation given to the Bhutan. After the Bhutan, the second biggest allocation is to the Mauritius. Second allocation is to the Mauritius, around 900 crore rupees. Numbers are not that much important. But understand that even in the budget, there is a foreign policy element that is there. Even in the budget, foreign policy element is there. Is it clear? So these are all the other initiatives that are there. So guys, that is all about the budget coverage. And apart from this, please don't see anything else. If you have taken all these notes that I had given, please do add it in your notebooks. The PDF you can download from my Telegram channel. The link is given in the description box. Fine, please do use it. Okay, that's all. Now, taking the another article, Citizens Forum launches campaign against hate politics. So basically, one quote, please read this quote first of all. The Montesquieu, who had given the concept of theory of separation of power, what the Montesquieu says: the tyranny of a prince in an oligarchy is not so dangerous to the public welfare as the apathy of citizen in a democracy. If the citizens are indifferent, if the citizens are having a kind of an apathy, that is more problematic. Is it clear or not? So therefore the citizens need to be very active. Now we see that there is a very big problem. What is the problem? Hate speeches, radicalization, fundamentalism, intolerance, hatredness into the society is increasing. In this particular thing, we can see in many cities such kind of thing is there. So what had happened? What had happened into the Gurugram, what has happened? The citizens, they have started one initiative, a forum against the hate politics they have started. Fine, and India's trust with hate on overdrive they will be taking on. They will dispel the hate, they will dispel the intolerance that has increased. Now this particular thing can be used as a case study in your GS paper number 1 answers. As a case study in your GS paper number 1 as well as in GS paper number 4, you can use this particular thing. Is it clear? The name we can also read here. It is the Gurgaon Nagrik Ekta Manch. Fine, it is a citizen platform. It is working on the communal harming to the COVID-19, and an online campaign on social media to speak up against the hate politics has been started. A very good initiative, and along with this particular quote, you can use in GS1, GS4, even in GS paper number 2. Fine. Okay, Ishant says on 6th January 2022 we have taken up. Okay, so guys, please do and see that 6th January 2022 there is one article where the capabilities of drone technology has been provided, how different ministries can use it. So very good article. You can find the timestamp. If possible, please look it. Thanks a lot, Ishant. Thank you, Ishant. Now there is one more article. YouTuber sent to police custody if you look prima facie. Not important article, but see there we can use such a reference in ethics of social influence. So when we talk about the social influence into the topic of attitude, in the topic of attitude, topic number 4 in GS4, there it is mentioned. So the attitude in GS4 talks about the social influence. What is a social influence? Social influence is a phenomena by which you can impact the people's belief, their attitudes, their notions, their ideas. That is the social influence. Now social influence is carried by the agents of social influence. social influence is carried by the agents of social influence. They can impact the people. Now what had happened, these YouTubers, they have actually a lot of social influence in their hands. They are followed by millions and millions and thousands of people. So these YouTubers, and I'll not say only the YouTubers, I'll say that the social media celebrities, they have a lot of social influence in their hands. Now there comes an ethics of social influence. There comes an ethics of the social influence. They need to use this social influence only to spread some positive message, only to educate. But some of the social influencers use their power to actually create some kind of a law and order problem. Now one of a YouTuber, what he did, he instigated the children of 10th class, 12th class, that you come onto the streets against the board exams that are being held. Now see, for last 2 years continuously the schools are closed. Is it clear? It is actually making a bad attitude into the children towards the studies. Is it clear? Competitiveness is going down, and on these particular things, just for the petty gains, instigating such kind of a crisis is not a good example. So the agents of social influence, such as the social media celebrities, they need to be more responsible into this particular line. Please don't use any name here. Clear? Please don't use any name here. Just we can give an indirect reference that such kind of thing had happened. Please don't use name of a person, name of a channel, etc. So guys, this is all about the today's newspaper analysis. Fine, it was a little bit lengthy, but I believe that it has a lot of value content that you can directly use in your examination. Please don't just passively see it and leave it. Please spend little bit, half an hour, 1 hour, all the points that have been given, please note them down in your notebook somewhere, and please include it in your answer writing. Fine. So that is all about the today's newspaper analysis. With this we come to an end. Now guys, we will be meeting tomorrow we'll be meeting live at 6:30 a.m. Fine. That is about it, and in within 1 or 2 days the MCQ part will also be started. So that is all for today. Thank you so much. Take care of yourselves, and if you have liked, please do hit the like button. Please do spread the initiative. Thank you so much.